We're talking about protecting overwintering insects and when do you pull back those leaves? So last fall, we talked about leaving the leaves, and I am grateful for the person who sent this question in because that means that they did it. Thank you. There are so many benefits. Keeping those fallen leaves, they benefit the environment in so many ways. They benefit wildlife, including turtles, toads, birds, and especially many of our beneficial insects. Many insects lay eggs on leaves, and then there's also caterpillars and chrysalises that tuck themselves in under the leaves for their cold winter's nap. Many bumblebees rely on leaf litter for protection from the temperature and weather extremes that occur throughout the winter as they burrow only really about an inch or two under the soil. And that's where they diapause through the winter. So now that it's starting to warm up, we're getting anxious to see the new growth, to see our perennials, and also to see those insects busy on flowers and things that are growing. So what do we do with all those leaves? Well, right now, leave them there. It is getting a little bit warmer, but we still do have some cold weather ahead. So wait as long as possible to reduce the chance of damage to your plants as well as those insects. We could have a late frost, we could have a freeze still. So we need to be aware of that. When we're talking about moving the leaves back, it's as much for the benefit of our plants and our insects. So we have to balance when our plants are starting to come up and when the insects are starting to emerge and move around. Removing the mulch early can encourage plants to bloom before the danger of frost is past. On the other hand, heavy mulch left too long can cause early emergence of weak and tender growth, and that growth can be killed or permanently injured by late freezes. The same happens with our insects. Some of them are cold-blooded, and so they don't move a lot when it's cooler than 40 or 50 degrees, but some of them become active based on temperatures. Others become active based on degree days. Others seem to emerge as if that's what the calendar is saying. So trying to find this balance is really important. I can't give you a very specific date, but what I can give you are some generalizations. Wait until the daytime temperatures are consistently in the 40s and 50s. I kind of lean towards the 50s when there isn't any more danger of frost. Mid-April is about the time that I'm going to pull back some of those leaves from my flower beds. I won't pull them all back because they do make a nice mulch and I do want to protect any growth coming in, but I will pull back some because I have a lot of leaves. And so I pull back some of the extra and I just pull them to the side of my beds in case there happens to be a late frost, in which I'll spread them back over the beds. So by the end of April, first part of May, I feel comfortable pulling any extra leaves that I pulled to the edges that I'm not going to leave in the beds. I put those into the compost bin or mow over them to shred them at that point because the insects are out and about at that point. So keep in mind that leaving the leaves is going to be different for veggie beds versus your lawn and your perennial flower beds. In vegetable gardens, we have to be careful about many overwintering pests. So it's okay to clean those up a bit more in your vegetable garden because we don't want to have our pests that are there that can reside from year to year. But in our other beds, then definitely please leave them a little bit longer. Another question I always get is it better to leave whole leaves or shredded leaves? Shredded leaves are wonderful. They do make a nice mulch, but if you are able to leave whole leaves, do that because then you're not destroying the eggs or the chrysalises or things like that are on there. Also, I get questions about leaves on the lawn. There's some research that says that it's not going to necessarily hurt your lawn, but I do have to say that it can make your lawn more susceptible to disease. So if you have more leaves than flower beds or natural areas and you want to help more pollinators, I'd say consider reducing the footprint of your lawn so that you can leave more of your leaves in an undisturbed setting.